Dear students, welcome to the digital classroom of Cambrian College. This is Amitab with you again with a new unit and new lesson. Unit 9, Diaspora, and lesson 1, what is diaspora, will be discussed today. Let's have a look. After going through this unit, we will be able to learn these factors. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to comprehend the definition of diaspora and analyze the causes of diaspora. Diaspora is the new term, so we will have to get acquainted with new terms and vocabularies. And let's discuss some vocabularies. Diaspora means expatriate, plight means sufferings, massive means great, ravage means destruction, ancestral means hereditary, noteworthy means significant. These are the important vocabularies which will be very much essential for the proper understanding of this unit. What is diaspora? This is a new term and we will have to get acquainted with this new term. Here we see the movement from one part of the world and settle in other part. That means the term refers to the movement. That means the term diaspora refers to the movement, migration, or scattering of people who leave their ancestral homeland and settle in other parts of the world. This is very important. A group of people who settle their ancestral homeland and settle in, who leave their ancestral homeland and settle in other parts of the world. And this term is called diaspora. In one term, it is called the movement of a particular group of people who leave their ancestral homeland and settle in other parts of the world. This is diaspora. And what are the causes behind diaspora? War is one of the causes. War is one of the causes of diaspora. Then ravage of nature, social insecurity, globalization, force of the authority, self-will, separation of certain group of people, threat and compulsion, globalization, war and ravage of nature. These three causes have been mentioned in the passage, and rest of the factors have been mentioned in a very indirect way. For that reason, all the factors have been established in this slide so that you can have the proper understanding regarding the factors behind diaspora. These are the factors which are responsible for diaspora. Next, reasons of voluntary diaspora. In the previous slide, we have come across the fact that self-will is one of the causes of diaspora. Self-will means voluntary diaspora. And what are the reasons lies behind the voluntary diaspora? And the reasons have been mentioned in this slide. For better earnings, people leave their ancestral homeland and settle in other parts of the world. Standard living, for similar case, for standard living, people also leave their ancestral homeland and settle in other parts of the world. Better upbringing of children, safety, internal business or other foreign affairs, globalization and higher education. For all these factors are responsible for voluntary diaspora. So these are very much important. Next, the passage mentions that the scholars have been studying diaspora with great interest. Why do they study diaspora with great interest? Because they want to get the statistical data. To get the statistical data on migrants and expatriates, to get the statistical data on migrants and expatriates, the scholars are studying diaspora. And to understand the actual reason of migration, what is the actual reason of migration and expatriation? Basically, to get the actual reason of migration and expatriation and to get the statistical data on migration, scholars have been studying the diaspora. Names of important diasporas and their reasons. The passage mentions several names of diaspora, and these names of diaspora as well as their reason have been mentioned in this slide. Jewish diaspora. The text mentions Jewish diaspora, and the reason has been mentioned also, the Jewish diaspora, because of religious persecution. It is not directly mentioned in the passage. In an indirect way, it is mentioned that religious persecution is responsible for Jewish diaspora. Then Aryan diaspora. The reason is not clear, reason is unclear. The passage mentions that the reason of Aryan diaspora is unclear. For that reason, it is stated that Aryan diaspora reason is unclear. Palestinian diaspora, because of the separation of certain group of people. The reason has not mentioned clearly in this passage. Only the Palestinian diaspora has been mentioned, but the reason has been mentioned in an indirect way. For that reason, it is stated that the Palestinian diaspora, because of the separation of a certain group of people, the separation of certain group of people has been mentioned in an indirect way. So it has been represented in the slide that Palestinian diaspora, because of the separation of certain group of people. Then African diaspora, because of war and the ravage of nature. This information has been stated clearly in the passage. So war and ravage of nature are the reason for African diaspora. Then Bangladeshi diaspora in 1971. In 1971, many Bangladeshis left their country, Bangladesh, and settled in India because of liberation war. This information has not been mentioned in the passage, but for the convenience of this passage, I have mentioned Bangladeshi diaspora in 1971 because of war. So these are the diasporas, and the reasons have been represented in this slide in a very simultaneous way. Then noteworthy diaspora. What is the noteworthy diaspora? The passage says that the movement of Aryan is a noteworthy diaspora, and they moved from Central Europe to Indian subcontinent. This is noteworthy diaspora. In one sentence, the movement of Aryan from Central Europe to Indian subcontinent is the noteworthy diaspora, and the cause of these diaspora are unclear. The causes are not clear. These information has also been represented in the previous slide. The Aryan diaspora, the reason of Aryan diaspora is not clear. That means the causes of this diaspora are unclear. Then drew the attention of the world leaders because of diaspora, drew the attention of the world leaders because of the plight of Palestinian diasporas. Because of the miserable condition of the Palestinian diasporas, the attention has been drawn. And Palestinian diaspora is also the cause of concern for the world leaders. It has also been a concern for the world leaders because of their plight, because of the plight of Palestinian diaspora. Next, globalization. What is the purpose of globalization, or what is the essential effect of globalization? With the help of globalization, views, ideas and cultures are exchanged. Views, ideas and cultures can easily be exchanged with the help of globalization, and people easily get connected with culture, different cultures. So globalization helps us to get connected with different cultures and to exchange our views. So this is globalization. And regarding diaspora, globalization plays a pivotal role because it is considered, that means globalization is considered to be the chief reason for diaspora. It is treated to be one of the chief reasons for diaspora. So globalization plays a very pioneer role regarding diaspora. State of diaspora, this is the overview of this passage regarding diaspora. Left ancestral land, we have come across this information earlier. That means a group of people leave ancestral land and settle in other parts of the world. This information has also been discussed. And forced to leave ancestral land, that means the group of people are forced to leave their ancestral land because of several reasons. Reasons have been discussed in our slides. So they are forced to leave ancestral land, and some group of people want to leave willingly. That means a voluntary diaspora. Scholars have been studying diaspora with great interest. This information has also been stated in the passage as well as in the slides. And globalization, the chief reason of diaspora. That means this slide is the summary of the whole passage. All the important information has been stated in this slide. So after going through this passage, you can easily answer to this question: what is diaspora? The definition of diaspora has been stated in this video. And why might a group of people want to leave their country involuntarily? This also has been mentioned. You can easily answer to this question, I think so. Then number 3, why do you think scholars have become interested in the study of diaspora? We have come across the reason of scholars' interest in the study of diaspora. So you can easily answer to this question. Number 4, why might globalization lead to diasporas? This information has also been discussed. That means the role of globalization you will have to mention in that case. And number 5, why had Palestinians left their ancestral homeland? The answer has also been discussed, and the answer has been stated in the passage in a very indirect way. So you are to come up with the information regarding dealing with question number 5. So if you go through this passage, before going through this passage, if you watch this video carefully, I think this video will help you to understand the passage perfectly. And on the basis of this passage, a flowchart has been given showing some important diasporas and the causes of diasporas. That means diaspora of the Jewish people. In the rest of the boxes, you are to mention the important diasporas and the causes of it. So in rest of the 5 boxes, you will have to mention important diasporas as well as the causes of diaspora, following the strategy of rules of flowchart. So that's all for today. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Thanks to you all.